Labour Congress is demanding a reversal in the petrol pump price as the federal government continues to deny involvement, citing that NNPCL acted on its own, raising the cost above 1,000 naira per litre. Now, this is one of the many discussions we'll be having on the program this morning, but before we delve into those matters, let's head over to our news desk and join Peace Ogenegbawe to bring us up to speed with the latest developments in the news this morning. Hello and good morning, Peace.
Good morning, Chijoke Okafo. Good morning and welcome to Adbn News at 7. We bring up latest headlines from across the nation and the world. I am Peace Ogenegbawe. Senate has mandated immediate compliance with Supreme Court's ruling on local government funding. The resolution was reached on the floor of the Senate after a debate on a motion by lawmaker representing Anambra North, Senator Tony Nwoye. A cross-section of lawmakers, including Senators Osita Izunaso and Adamu Aliero, underscored the urgency for adherence to judicial mandate to enhance transparency and accountability in local governance. President of the
few state governments, through their respective state House of Assembly, through their different state House of Assembly, seek to enact laws, while some have already enacted laws and continue to take action that undermine the financial autonomy of local governments, thereby breaching the constitutional provision 1999 Constitution as well as the judgment of the Supreme Court. The Senate further concerned that the modus operandi of subverting this financial autonomy of local governments by state government through the House of Assembly is to insert clauses in their state laws that require local governments upon receipt of this federal allocation from federation account to remit all or majority or substantial part of the allocation to a dedicated account who the state government will keep on controlling, managing, and disburse as they like.
In supporting this motion, I would like to recall that there is urgent need to amend Section 7 of 1999 Constitution as amended to further guarantee the autonomy of local government. This Constitution says that local government is the third tier of government. We have 3 tiers of government in Nigeria: the federal, the state, and local government. So local government should be allowed to exercise that responsibility of a third tier of government. So in any attempt of any state House of Assembly trying to make law that will now mandate this revenue coming to local governments to be controlled by another account before the money gets to the local government, I think is undermining the Supreme Court judgment.
The court has already decided that the money of the local government councils should be released directly to the councils. And for us to start debating it, it's going against the spirit of the Constitution, since there is already a constitutional provision to that effect.
2 prayers are as follows. All states and local governments to fully comply with the recent Supreme Court judgment on the disbursement and utilization of funds accruing to all local governments in Nigeria.
President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, in his ruling assured that National Assembly will take immediate steps to alter sections of the Constitution to give full autonomy to local government administration in the country.
Bordering on attempts to circumvent the ruling of the Supreme Court. And I want to thank all of you for your contributions, and I assure you that the 10th Senate, working with our colleagues in the House of Representatives, will alter any aspect of our Constitution, amend any section of our laws to ensure full autonomy to the local government administrations in this country, so that it will be recognized fully in action and in fact as a third tier of government of the Federation. So I thank you for the motions so far moved.
Senate also accused state governments of using their state houses of assembly to enact laws that breach constitutional provisions and the Supreme Court's judgments on granting financial autonomy to local governments in line with provisions of the Constitution. Still keeping up with the red chambers, the Senate has urged federal government to declare a state of emergency on protection and welfare of the girl child to address educational, health, and safety needs of girls across the country. The upper chamber also urged state governments to domesticate and enforce the Child Rights Act and Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act with a focus on eradicating harmful traditional practices like female genital mutilation. These resolutions followed a motion raised by Senator Ireti King-Igwe on the plight of the Nigerian girl child and urgent need for intervention by federal government to save the future of Nigerian girls. Senator Ireti expressed concern that girl-child marriages remain prevalent across Nigeria, with northern zones showing alarming statistics. She noted that according to 2018 Nigerian Demographic and Health Survey, over 44% of girls are married before age 18, with high percentages in states like Zamfara, Bauchi, and Sokoto. A significant number of senators expressed their support for the motion ahead of the International Day of the Girl Child, which is observed on 11th October every year. And moving on to the Green Chambers, the House of Representatives have urged federal government to implement the 2004 Export Prohibition Act to curb food smuggling and food insecurity in the country. House also urged Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security to provide more incentives for farmers to boost agricultural production and productivity. The Committees on Agricultural Production and Services, Legislative Compliance, Customs, Commerce and Industry were mandated to ensure compliance and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. The resolutions follow the adoption of motion sponsored by Honorable Mokhtar Shagaya.
The security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. The House also notes that Nigeria is currently experiencing high levels of food insecurity, food inflation, food shortages. This situation has led to millions of citizens lacking access to sufficient and nutritious food, resulting in untold hardship, hunger, and misery among the population. The House is concerned about reports from the World Bank and the International Rescue Committee, IRC, indicating that over 31.8 million Nigerians, approximately 16% of the population, are currently facing severe food insecurity and malnutrition among women and children. The House is also concerned that the food smuggling and exportation is a major driver of the current food insecurity, with large quantities of food products smuggled out of the country, consequently undermining agricultural output and threatening the livelihood of farmers.
In the meantime, House of Representatives has taken a significant step to address the delays in justice delivery in Nigeria, aiming to restore public confidence in the judiciary. To achieve this, the House has mandated its Committee on Constitutional Review to undertake a comprehensive overhaul of the system. The committee, chaired by Deputy Speaker Honorable Benjamin Kalu, has been tasked with consulting experts, civil society, and citizens to gather inputs for meaningful reforms, with a deadline set for December 2025. The resolution followed the adoption of a motion sponsored by Honorable Ganiyu Adeli Ayuba.
Believe that unless some urgent steps are taken to address the delay in our administration of justice and judicial system, the confidence reposed in the judiciary may be finally eroded, and citizens may start taking law into their hands. Mr. Speaker, the House thereby resolve and mandates the House of Committee. Mr. Speaker, minor amendment here. I want to seek the courage of the House to remove Judiciary and Constitutional Review Committee here, so that I'll be left with mandate the House Committee on Justice to organize public hearing and invite various stakeholders in the administration of justice with a view to permanently addressing the delay in justice delivery in the country.
But I'm worried with the prayer, especially in a time when we are trying to cut the cost of governance. The expenses of the legislature should be managed in a manner that we use one stone to kill multiple birds. Mr. Speaker, this House has appointed a Constitution Review Committee with representatives from all the states of the Federation, including FCT, who are there as members of that committee. And there have been a lot of deliberations on the issue of the judiciary, which happen to be a prioritized sector. We've had a retreat in Lagos with the judiciary, discussing issues bordering on the subject matter of this motion. We also had technical section on Saturday, and we are calling another meeting with all the heads of the judiciary to interface with the technical team of the Constitutional Review Committee with regards to some of the issues mentioned in this motion.
Mr. Speaker, one of the major problems we have with our justice delivery system, for example, today, can be seen in the cases in our various correctional centers. Prisons that were built or correctional facilities that were built to take, for example, 100 persons in the 70s, where facilities have not been expanded till today, have thousands of people languishing in them. And Mr. Speaker, of the number of persons in our correctional facilities, I can say without any form of doubt that over 60 to 70% are people who are awaiting trial. Some of them are in the correctional facilities for a period that is even longer than the time they would have been convicted for if they were eventually found guilty of such alleged offenses. And by the principle of our Constitution, every person is adjudged innocent until proven guilty.
Now, away from the National Assembly, retail outlets owned by Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited adjusted the pump price of petrol on Wednesday in Lagos and Federal Capital Territory. In Lagos, reports indicate that many NNPCL outlets sold a litre of the essential commodity for 998 naira, about 150 naira higher than the initial price of 855 naira. Following the development, many filling stations not owned by NNPCL immediately followed suit as they also adjusted pump price, with many selling as high as 1,050 naira in many parts of Lagos. In Abuja, the situation was not any way different, as reports indicated that NNPCL retail outlets hiked the price of fuel from 897 naira to 1,030 naira. The fresh increase follows the 2nd September 2024 increase by the NNPCL. Recall that the retail company had hiked the price per litre of petrol from 568 naira to 855 naira, sparking outrage. And in response to this, Nigerian Labour Congress has demanded an immediate reversal of fresh fuel price hike, saying it is an aberration that NNPCL is fixing fuel prices in a deregulated sector. Labour Union called on federal government to immediately reverse the latest hike in petrol price, as previous increases did not produce any positive results. In a statement by its president, Comrade Joe Ajero, and NLC contended that, following the logic of market forces, it is an aberration that a private company is the one fixing prices and projecting itself as a hegemonic monopoly. The statement noted that the increment will further deepen poverty as production capacities dip and more jobs lost, with multidimensional negative effects. And moving away from that story, former Speaker of Kogi State House of Assembly, Honorable Machikola Awoli, has urged Nigerian youth to enhance power of social media to promote benefits of democracy in the nation. His call came during an event focused on the role of social media in agricultural development, where he addressed recent protests orchestrated by some youth factions. Let's now join Fumilola Adeyemi, our Adbn correspondent, with the details.
Youth in the country have increasingly used social media to advocate for transparency and accountability, including in sectors like agriculture and security. Calls from them for reforms and democratic engagement highlight the desire for solutions through dialogue and innovation rather than military intervention. This emphasized the need to strengthen democratic institutions and civil governance, avoiding military takeover, which can disrupt both agricultural progress and national security.
The way the country is going today with the economic reform and with what people call hardship, I believe with us going fully back into agriculture, food will be on our table. And as you know, when there is food in your tummy, the rest problems are solved. So to the best of my knowledge, agric is going to play a pivotal role in keeping human beings alive, and at the same time, the social media also will play a pivotal role in bringing information to the people.
The worst civilian regime is better than the best, the most benevolent military dictatorship.
National Coordinator, Zero Hunger Nigeria, Dr. Tunde Arosanye, emphasized that agriculture, when practiced with modern technology, will increase food output while reducing unemployment rate in the country.
The fact remains that without food, there is no human existence, and agriculture remains the only way to generate the food for human survival. It is also imperative that government at all levels must put in place appropriate programs to encourage farmers in their activities to produce more and make farming attractive and profitable. Between all of these are the critical roles of the social media in ensuring that all stakeholders play his or her role effectively and ensuring information gaps are bridged between the government and the governed toward a safe, guaranteed and peaceful society.
On his part, publisher of Democracy Newsline newspaper, Chief Olugbemi Femi, appealed to Nigerians to join hands with current administration to make the country great.
To President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the governors and other leaders, I plead for responsive governance for a better Nigeria.
Highlights of the event include award presentation to deserving personality, both in the agricultural sector and political space. Fumilola Adeyemi, Adbn News.
Now let's bring you stories from the Federal Capital Territory, where the Minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike, has pledged strategic support to Nigerian defense in ensuring a successful and secure African military games. The Minister gave this assurance while receiving a delegation led by Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Christopher Musa, during a courtesy visit in his office. Our FCT State House correspondent, Naomi Oleribe, has details.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Nyesom Wike, emphasized that his administration would prioritize the safety and security of all activities related to the Games. He stressed the importance of ensuring that participants return to their home countries with positive impressions of Nigeria. Barrister Wike also noted that the tournament would boost economic activities in Abuja and enhance the city's global image.
We have no choice but to give you the necessary support because it is our city that is going to host this international game. So we want to assure you we'll fully participate and give you all the necessary support so that it will be a successful event. Whatever you think we can do not hesitate to tell us quickly. Yes, bureaucracy, but when we start on time, we'll be able to achieve what we want to achieve.
In his remarks, Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Christopher Musa, highlighted the significance of the African military games in showcasing Nigeria, especially the nation's capital, to the world in a positive light. He revealed that over 40 countries will be participating with their armed forces represented in the competition.
Abuja is safe, Nigeria is safe. Most people, when you travel out, the impression they give of Nigeria is that Nigeria is very hostile, it's a hostile environment. That when you come in, there's a lot of killings and all this. When you notice that Nigeria is more secure than most of these countries that also talk.
Nigeria will be the second African country to host the African Military Games. The event aims to promote international diplomacy, military cooperation, and attract investment opportunities. Naomi Oleribe, Adbn News.
You're watching Adbn News at 7. Watch us on DSTV channel 258, on StarTimes channel 140, Avo TV app, Limex World TV app, and Niger TV app. For more stories, visit our website on www.adbntv.com. Stay with us for more stories after the break.
Welcome to the world where innovation meets opportunity, where ideas become empires. This is Market TV.
I am Idorian Flannan, and every week I'll be taking you inside the dynamic world of marketing and commercial business.
From groundbreaking startups to big businesses, Market TV brings you the best pricing and latest goods on display.
It's all about understanding your audience and staying ahead of the trends.
Witness the creative processes that drive the various brands.
Join us as we dive deep into the strategies that shape the commercial landscape. From streets to traditional advertising and social media, we cover it all.
Whether you're a seasoned professional or an aspiring entrepreneur, Market TV provides the insights you need to thrive.
This show gave us the tool to turn our vision into reality.
So, if you're ready to master the market, tune into Market TV every Saturday at 6 p.m.
No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am. That's now why people they talk.
You know wetin dey worry you, but you no go fit take help yourself.
In this kind of situation now, what if they really no talk to una? Wetin be the way forward?
They go bury our chairman on Thursday. We go remain here.
Make we talk good where we dey see good, and where we know say we not dey see good, make we also dey talk am.
No woman, no mother deserve to know the grave of his child.
The bank manager, the bank executive, they are the one the government should first face.
People They Talk, the show on Monday to Friday by 5 p.m. on top Adbn TV.
In a world of overwhelming voices where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Banigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an invocative program that touches the core of our existence.
You're welcome back. Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Mweno has unveiled plans to relocate and construct a modern correctional center. Governor made this disclosure while welcoming Minister of Interior Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo during a condolence visit. He noted that expanding the facility's capacity will help reduce overcrowding and enhance living conditions of inmates. Let's now join Adbn's Akwa Ibom State House correspondent Mary Onyemechi for more details.
Governor Mweno has reaffirmed his dedication to fostering a more just and equitable society in Akwa Ibom State by enhancing the quality of life for prisoners and upgrading the state's fire service for quicker emergency responses, thereby ensuring the safety and well-being of the people.
Because our fire service here, I'm not again to
happy with what is on ground. We are working with thank God, the Commissioner for Works and Fire Service that is here, so we'll be able to link up and try to get your guidance in how we can tweak our state's fire service, because fire is fire, whether it's done by federal or state, or all of these things are just nomenclature. At the end of the day, it is service to humanity.
Pastor Enoh expressed his gratitude to the minister for the visit and praised the outstanding services provided by the agency under the Ministry of Interior, recognizing the significant impacts in the country.
I have enjoyed the support of all of the services here in Akwa Ibom. Before Madam became the Controller General, I was in the headquarters myself to get my diplomatic passport. It was, the handling was just swift, and they made me feel like a king that day.
The Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, expressed appreciation to the governor for his efforts in enhancing internal security in the state, emphasizing that the governor is the first to take an interest in upgrading and relocating a correctional facility in the country.
It's been a very great pillar of support for the entrenchment of internal security in Nigeria. I have to say this. And I have to say this, that the first state that reached out to us to say we're not comfortable with the situation of correctional service. As a state, we want to relocate this and we want to build it, and we're ready to foot the bill was the governor of Akwa Ibom State. And considering the fact that you have PDP extraction, but you understand that regardless of party, we are Nigerians.
Mary Onyemechi, Adbn News.
Now, updates from Rivers State shows that the governor, Sir Siminalayi Fubara, has assured that his administration will be working with Nigerian Police Force and Directorate of State Services to deter hoodlums from running amok, committing arson in the state. He also assured that measures will be taken to unravel those behind recent burning of council secretariats at Ikwere, Emuoha, and Eleme local government areas, with a view to making them account for their atrocities. Governor Fubara made the assurance while swearing in 4 new commissioners into Rivers State Executive Council at Government House in Port Harcourt. He applauded the show of patience and calmness by majority Rivers people and charged the newly sworn-in commissioners to be dedicated, forthright, diligent and productive while rendering quality services to the state.
We want you to balance the state, work for the state, realizing that your responsibility at this point is to the state and not your local government anymore. You all have to work with us to make sure that we curb this issue of oil theft and pipeline vandalization. This is the only way the allocation will increase, and more will also come to our state, and more progress will also be achieved in this state.
In the meantime, Rivers State Governor Sir Siminalayi Fubara has inaugurated a judicial commission of inquiry to investigate the arson, killings and destructions of properties at various local government council headquarters in the state. Governor Fubara inaugurated 7-member commission at the executive chambers of Government House in Port Harcourt. The governor said recent attacks and burning of local government council secretariats seemed like a repeat of what was experienced in 2014, months before general elections of 2015, when courts were set ablaze. Governor Fubara said his administration will not look away while ill-guided youth turn the state into a theater of violence without being made to pay for such crimes against the state.
God has blessed us so much. We will not allow ourselves to destroy what God has given to us in Rivers State. And it is on that ground I stand to speak on behalf of the members of this commission that by the special grace of God, we will not fail the governor that has appointed us today, and we will not fail Rivers State.
Let me, for the purpose of the record, outline your terms of reference. 1, determine the underlying cause of the violence and identify the individual or group responsible for the attack on some local government council headquarters and the harm caused to citizens. Evaluate the extent of damage to properties, infrastructures, and human lives, and estimate the financial losses incurred. 3, examine whether the violence was politically motivated, or if so, identify the key players and their roles in instigating the violence. Assess the effectiveness of the security agencies' response to the violence and identify areas for improvement.
He urged them to work with the mind of actualizing the purpose of the assignment, as he noted that history will not forget their responsibility. We now move to Edo State, where All Progressive Congress in the state says Independent National Electoral Commission has agreed to move the inspection of election materials to Thursday to allow party prepare itself. Chairman of APC in Edo State, Mr. Jared Tenebe, and legal counsel, Mr. Victor Ohiosunwa, confirmed that they did not come with all necessary materials because of a mix-up in inspection process. In a separate development, INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner in Edo State, Mr. Onugum Onoha, denied an allegation against him by People's Democratic Party that he resisted requests to gain access to bimodal voter accreditation system inspection before the just concluded gubernatorial elections in the state. A statement signed by him described PDP allegation as baseless, misleading, and devoid of truth, insisting he never denied any political party, agents, or representatives access to beavers ahead of the contestation in courts to inspect beavers. He therefore invited all political parties, including PDP, to inspect beavers on Wednesday. And let's bring you more stories in our bulletin. Federal government has disclosed that a consortium of investors from South Korea has concluded plans to build 4 100,000 barrel capacity refineries in various locations in the country. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Senator Heineken Lokobiri, stated this at the maiden edition of a summit organized by Crude Oil Refineries Owners Association of Nigeria in Lagos. According to him, federal government is encouraging investors to build refineries by providing an open environment for all. Senator Lokobiri noted that approval was recently granted to invite the consortium, adding that this will yield results as federal government is open to equity investment in modular refineries and other upcoming refineries as a step to ensure energy security. You're still watching ADBN News at 7. You can now watch us on DSTV channel 258, Star Times channel 140, Avo TV app, Limix World TV app, and Niger TV app. For more stories, visit our website on www.adbntv.com. Stay with us for more stories on the firing scene after this break.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrast. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on Adbn TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am. That's now why people dey talk.
You know wetin dey worry you, but you no go fit take help yourself.
If you are not a judge, you are not a judge.
Make we talk good where we dey see good, and where we know say we no dey see good, make we also dey talk am.
No woman, no mother deserve to know the grave of his child.
The bank manager, the bank executive, they are the one the government should first face.
People They Talk, the show on Monday to Friday by 5 p.m. on top Adbn TV.
Step into the heartbeat of the world where news meets real talk. From breakthroughs in diplomacy to humanitarian challenges and scientific milestones, Global Digest takes you beyond the headlines and straight to the heart of the matter. I am Amma Marcus. Be a part of the world unfolding stories at 3 p.m. on ADBN, channel 258 on DSTV, and Star Times, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
You're welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, steady rain began to fall and winds picked up in the Tampa Bay area Wednesday morning as Hurricane Milton barreled towards a potentially catastrophic impact on Florida's west coast. Despite mandatory evacuation orders for millions, some residents insisted on staying behind. The Tampa Bay region, home to over 3.3 million people, has not experienced a direct hit from a major hurricane in over a century. As Milton fluctuated between Category 4 and 5, National Hurricane Center cautioned that regardless of its precise wind speeds, it would remain a major and extremely dangerous storm upon landfall early Thursday. Just hours later, Hurricane Milton moved across central Florida, generating deadly tornadoes, destroying homes and leaving nearly 2 million customers without power. In Hillsborough County, where Tampa is located, Sheriff Chad Cornistar has urged residents to finalize their evacuation plans. Authorities have issued mandatory evacuation orders across 11 Florida counties, affecting around 5.9 million people. They have cautioned that anyone choosing to stay must be prepared to fend for themselves, as first responders will not risk their safety for rescues during the storm's peak. And now to sport news. Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Enna, has urged Super Eagles to dominate and conquer at Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo this Friday as they face Libya's Mediterranean Knights. Acknowledging the Eagles' position in Group D, Senator Enna emphasized the need for tactical superiority and importance of proving their mettle on the field. He assured the team that the entire nation will be supporting them, but cautioned them to be aware of threats posed by the Libyan side. Nigeria leads the group with 4 points after 2 matches, while Libya sits at the bottom with just 1 point. Friday's match is set to kick off at 5 p.m. and will be broadcast live on ADBN television. Among reports from the sports desk, 2 Nigerian referees have been appointed to officiate at the upcoming WAFU B Under-20 Championship in Togo. Abdusalam Kazim will serve as a center referee, while Mahmoud Yakubu has been designated as an assistant referee. Nigeria's Flying Eagles will be among the 7 nations participating in the tournament, which is scheduled to run from the 17th day of October to the 31st day of October 2024. The team will face Burkina Faso and Ivory Coast in their group games. And now to local championship. Motions are in place for the maiden edition of Akwa Ibom State Football Association Academies Championship. This was made public in a letter to all affiliated academies signed by Secretary of the Akwa Ibom State Football Governing Body, Comrade Kufri Istukudok. The letter indicates that registration for the championship will start on the 14th day of October and end 22nd October, while late registration starts 23rd and runs through 26th October 2024. According to the association, academies desiring to compete in the championship should make payment of 20,000 naira to the Akwa Ibom State Football Association account. The championship is slated to kick off on the 2nd day of November 2024 and run through the 9th day of November in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State capital. Meanwhile, Akwa Ibom State Football Association has continued to call on football clubs willing to compete in the 2024 President Federation Cup to pay 200,000 naira for male teams and 150,000 naira for female teams as registration fee before the first day of November 2024. Both competitions are only for affiliated academies and clubs willing to compete in the Championship and President Federation Cup. And that's it on ADBN Television News this morning. Remember to watch us live on DSTV channel 258 and StarTimes channel 140, Avo TV app, Limix World TV app, and Niger TV app. For more stories, visit our website on www.adbntv.com. You can also watch us live from every part of the world by logging on to www.adbntv.com/live. I am Peace Ogenegbawe, and it's back to Chijioke Okafo for the continuation of Morning Express. Thank you for watching.
Well, thank you so much, Peace, for taking us through our first major news bulletin of the day. Now, in a confusing twist, transporters have hiked their fares as NNPC Limited has, for the third time in 2 months, increased the fuel pump price. Now, this is one of the stories making rounds across newspaper headlines this morning. After this short break, we'll come back and take a look at national publications across the nation. We'll also be having our in-house analyst here in the studio to delve deeper into some of these conversations. And for sports lovers, at the top of the hour at 10, we will be joining our Uyo studios to have ADBN Sports at 10. So do well to stick around. It promises to be a fully packed program. Don't go away.
It is Groovy Mono, aka the Steez Prince.
Yo, what's up? It's Big Shags. I'm in London.
Hey guys, I'm Princess Jekoko. My name is Mutale Mwanza, the Queen of Zambian Media.
My name is Grand Prince Itech. Hi guys, my name is Baj Adibule. I'm an actor and a filmmaker.
Hello guys, I'm Falagade Banks.
My name is Kelechi Amadiobi, photographer, storyteller.
My name is Lanradi Dura, I'm an actor.
My name is Chidi Mokeme.
Hi, my name is Uche Uba.
It's Tobe Season.
I'm Miss Thames.
Hi ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mamas and brothers, I am Jimmy. You can call me the Entertainer.
My name is Esio Dometa. I am an actor and a film producer.
My name is Sobi Kovana.
Hi. My name is Julius the Genius. I would give a shout out to ADBN.
Big shout out to ADBN TV.
You're watching ADBN.
And you are watching. Keep watching ADBN TV.
And this is ADBN TV.
And this is a shout out to ADBN TV. Keep watching, don't switch the dial.
Shout out to ADBN. Keep watching, love.
And you are watching ADBN TV.
Shout out to ADBN TV.
I've got one thing for you. Make sure you keep watching ADBN TV.
And shout out
to ADBN TV.
Shout out to ADBN TV. Don't touch that. Don't touch that dial.
And you're watching
ADBN TV. Keep watching ADBN TV.
And I'm shouting out to ADBN TV.
You're watching ADBN TV.
Keep watching ADBN TV. This is where to be. And you're watching ADBN.
And shout out to
ADBN TV.
And shout out to ADBN TV. Keep watching.
And you're watching ADBN TV.
keep watching ADBN TV.
Right now, you are checking out ADBN TV. One time.
ADBN. Keep watching. I love you and kisses. Keep watching ADBN.
And a special shout out to ADBN. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. Please don't touch that dial.
Stay groovy.
Mwah.
Hey, Bobby.
Ha!
It's a shout out to ADBN.
ADBN, Advocate Broadcasting Network.
Welcome to the world where innovation meets opportunity, where ideas become empires. This is Market TV.
I am Idorian Flannan, and every week I'll be taking you inside the dynamic world of marketing and commercial business.
From groundbreaking startups to big businesses, Market TV brings you the best pricing and latest goods on display.
It's all about understanding your audience and staying ahead of the trends.
Witness the creative processes that drive the various brands.
Join us as we dive deep into the strategies that shape the commercial landscape. From streets to traditional advertising and social media, we cover it all.
Whether you're a seasoned professional or an aspiring entrepreneur, Market TV provides the insights you need to thrive.
This show gave us the tool to turn our vision into reality.
So, if you're ready to master the market, tune into Market TV every Saturday at 6 p.m.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrast. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on ADBN TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am. That's now why people they talk.
You know wetin dey worry you, but you no go fit take help yourself.
In this kind of situation now, what if they really no talk to Ona? What will be the way forward?
They go bury our chairman on Thursday. We go remain here.
Make we talk good where we dey see good, and where we know say we not dey see good, make we also dey talk am.
No woman, no mother deserve to know the grave of his child.
The bank manager and the bank executive, they are the one the government should first pay.
People They Talk, the show on Monday to Friday by 5 p.m. on top ADBN TV.
In a world of overwhelming voices where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Banigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an invocative program that touches the core of our existence.
Step into the heartbeat of the world where news meets real talk. From breakthroughs in diplomacy to humanitarian challenges and scientific milestones, Global Digest takes you beyond the headlines and straight to the heart of the matter. I am Amma Marcus. Be a part of the world unfolding stories at 3 p.m. on ADBN, channel 258 on DSTV, and Star Times, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
You're welcome back to Morning Express. Now, to set the ball rolling on our program this morning, we'll be taking a look at some publications across the country, newspapers and tabloids, with stories making the rounds. Most prominently is the new fuel pump price hideout as published by the newspaper houses, and not necessarily the stance of position of ADBN television on some of these developing stories. You can also join the conversation online, virtually across our social media platforms on YouTube and on Facebook. Now, that being said, let's pick up our first two papers on the lineup. As we begin. On the front page of the Daily Sun newspaper, starting off with that, you'd find the headline story: outrage over fresh petrol price hike. Straplines read: The Sun story confirmed as PMS cost rises to 989 naira per litre. Foodstuff, transport fare, others skyrocket, and Labour talks tough. Above the headline story, Senate in rowdy session over local government autonomy. Set to tighten rules on local airlines, presses for minimum of 4 to 5 planes before operations. While traditional rulers demand 5% share from local government allocation. You'd find on the rider 4 stories of interest as members of the House of Reps task federal government on food security, call for urgent implementation of Exports Prohibition Act 2004. While Ganduje dismisses North Central APC stakeholders' 7-day resignation ultimatum, says group's leader needs mental examination. Tinubu, Jonathan, OBJ orders to grace Iwanyanwo's burial come November 1st. Adequate security measures in place, says the LOC. While Plateau killings, 3 family members, unborn baby killed in renewed attack in Bokos. You'd find pictures of prominence here, starting off with the picture of Coordinating Directors, People Services Group, Anthony Okonkwo, as well as Compliance and Enforcement Group, Matthew Bonjubola, and Medium Taxpayers Group, Dick Iri, Chief of Staff Tayo Koleosho, as well as others during the unveiling of the agency's USSD code star 829 hash in Abuja yesterday. And right next to that is a picture of the chairman, United Nigeria Airlines, Obiora Okonkwo, and Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Yemi Cardoso, during a visit to CBN in Abuja yesterday. Now crossing over to the Daily Independent, away from the Daily Sun, on the front page of the Daily Independent with a semblance in terms of headline: outrage greets NNPC's fresh petrol price hike amid hardship. Straplines read: jerks up petrol price to 1,030 naira and 998 naira per litre in Abuja and Lagos, respectively. Increase is ill-timed, Nigerians wallowing in poverty. While NLC asks federal government to reverse pump price of PMS immediately. Federal government taking Nigerians for granted, northern youths have cried out. Tinubu's inefficiency is the cause of the hike, Pearce and Akingbolu have said. It will stock inflationary pressures erode consumer purchasing power, analysts have rendered. Now above the masthead, federal government creating local government, an aberration, says Governor Diri, says it's time to rethink Nigeria's federalism. And the Senate is set to amend Constitution to accommodate Supreme Court ruling on local government autonomy. Feature stories inserted to the left side of the Daily Independent say that in tackling hunger, it is crucial to achieving economic development and stability, according to a statement by the NESG. While Utan moves to reclaim North Central's PDP chairmanship from Damagun. Cybercrime, a threat to national security, says IGP Egbetokun. And federal government finalizes plan to implement zero VAT on imported pharmaceuticals. This is the rider story. While federal government also unveils payment plan portal for CNG conversion in the country. On the front page of the Nation newspaper, as we continue in the review, you'd find inserted beneath the masthead: NNPCL sells petrol for 998 naira in Lagos and 1,030 naira in Abuja. Oil giant buys from Dangote at 977 naira per litre. Full deregulation of downstream oil sector begins. Above the masthead, conflicting personal interest, cause of PDP internal crisis, says Oyelola, while innovative funding is key to sustainable aviation sector, says Aviation Minister. While Lagos added Green Line Rail mass transit, this is an editorial continued on news page 6 of the Nation newspaper. Now, away from that story, picture of prominence here, you'd find a picture of Vice President Kashim Shettima with the President of the Japan International Cooperation Agency, as well as Deputy Chief of Staff to the Federation, Senator Ibrahim, and Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, and Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, during a visit by Tamaka and his team to the presidential villa in Abuja yesterday. While two rider stories on the Nation say, success of SAPZ 1 program will boost food security, according to the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Wale Edun, with his picture inserted there right next to the story. And Senate says states must comply fully with Supreme Court's judgment on council autonomy. Motion forces Red Chamber into a closed session, while federal government cautions Nigerians on source of drinking water. Now let's pick up our next three papers on the lineup as we continue to have more newspaper headline stories surrounding the new increase in fuel pump price. Our next three papers, as they greet your screen, will be the Nigerian News Direct, the Vanguard newspaper, as well as the Matrix. With the Nigerian News Direct starting off, again, NNPC raises petrol pump price in 2 months as queues resurface in Lagos, Abuja, Ogun. Straplines say economy not ripe for full deregulation, according to a statement by the CCPE. Increase will further deepen poverty and job losses, Nigeria Labour Congress has warned. And feature stories here: Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Polaris Bank provides free screening for 250 women as part of its humanitarian activities. While we are focusing on AI and talent development, Digital Economy Minister has revealed. And federal government commences implementation of zero VAT on pharmaceutical products and medical services. Ogun State kicks off rehabilitation of facilities ahead of 2024 Sports Festival, while Africa can solve its problems by leveraging abundant gas reserves, Seplat CEO says. Equities markets sustains bearish trend as investors lose 56 billion naira. These are the many stories that can be found on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. Now, quickly crossing over to the Vanguard, there's anger as petrol price goes up third time in 2 months, says the headline. Now, strap lines read, price up by 15% to 1,030 naira per litre in Abuja and 998 naira in Lagos. We are seeing complete deregulation, marketers have cried out. Latest increase regrettably ill-timed, CPPE lashes out. Untold hardship for workers looms, while impact will be severe on businesses, Adbn says, will further erode citizens' purchasing power, NECA and analysts have rendered. Nigerians being pushed to the wall, and Sheikh Usani, Baptist Conference, Yahab seek Tinubu's intervention, while NLC demands reversal, says it is an aberration. Above the masthead, 3 stories of interest here. According to Senator Ali Ndume of Borno State, military lacks weapons, morale to defeat terrorists in the northeast region. Federal government gazettes executive order on zero VAT, excise duties for manufacturing firms. And gunmen attack army camp, kill soldiers in Imo State. You'd find a picture of prominence here with long queue of vehicles at the AA Rano filling station despite the pump price increment in Abuja yesterday. Now inserted to the left of that is an NNPC station totem displaying new price. Photo credit goes to Peter Oyedele. Now away from that, you'd also find rider stories here. Unilag, UI lose top rankings as CU emerges best Nigerian university in 2024, while Army probes brigade commander over alleged diversion of palliatives. Federal government will flush out bandits, criminals from Northwest, Minister of Defense Matawale says. And in sports, leading up to the AFCON 2025 in the qualifiers, full house in Uyo as Super Eagles get set to peck Libya on Friday. Now moving on to the Matrix newspaper. Let's pick up a copy of the Matrix newspaper together. As seen on your screen, outrage greets fuel price hike. Straplines read, it will further deepen poverty, grossly alter calculation of Nigerians, NLC says. It is ill-timed, insensitive to Nigerians' prevailing economic challenges, CPPE reveals. I am really angry with Nigerians because they are not doing anything, former Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi has blasted. Now above the headline story, more agony looms for customers as banks announce migration. GTCO, Access Bank announced looming service disruptions. Federal government commences zero VAT excise duties on pharmaceutical products to crash prices, and airport officers to wear body cams as federal government implements new security measures to avert extortion at airports. Federal government targets $50 billion investment in Nigeria's oil sector, says Minister of Petroleum for Oil Heineken Lokpobiri. And away from that story, you'd also find inserted to the bottom right of the Matrix newspaper, Army Chief suspends commander, others probe into alleged discrepancies in Kano. 30 million naira alleged bribe saga. Governor Ayedatiwa fires aid. And INEC agrees to shift election materials inspection to Thursday, following the aftermath of the Edo gubernatorial polls. Picture of prominence here is that of Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu discussing with Retta Joe-Louis, President and Chairperson of the Export-Import Bank of the United States, with second captain, CEO of TAV Airports recently. Now moving away from the Matrix newspaper, in a much anticipated action, the Nigerian Labour Congress is demanding a reversal in the new fuel pump price, one that many analysts say will bring untold hardship on Nigerians. Now do note that this is the third time in 2 months that the NNPCL is increasing its fuel pump price. And this story is captured on 4 major newspapers this morning. We'll be taking a look at the Daily Trust, the Punch newspaper, Nigeria Tribune, as well as the Leadership newspaper. And the first 2 papers will greet your screen as we continue. Starting off with the Daily Trust newspaper, you'd find inserted there beneath the masthead and the 3 top stories: NLC demands petrol price hike reversal. Federal government denies involvement as NNPCL adjusts cost above 1,000 naira per litre. Citizens say it is unbearable. New pricing unfavorable to us, Ipman says. Beneath the masthead, party leaders clash over Atiku and Wike in the internal crisis that has rocked the People's Democratic Party, while NNPCL, NPA, NEIT, 507 others score low in transparency and accountability, following a special report by Daily Trust. Bandits kill 11, abduct others in Katsina communities. Now, picture inserted here is that of fuel queues returning to the city amid, or the country amid hike in petrol pump price. Now, you'd also find beneath that, concerns over hurdles to mental health care in Nigeria. Now, this, I believe, is in commemoration of the World Mental Health Day, which is today. Woman, 4 grandchildren die after taking PAP. Federal government finalizes plan for zero VAT on pharmaceuticals, while following Plateau local government polls, voting extended amid hitches in the state. Let's move on to the Punch newspaper, starting off with the phrase in red beneath the masthead: 1,030 naira per litre. NLC demands reversal as fuel queues resurface. Strapline reads: petrol nears 1,300 naira per litre in states as NNPC hikes pump price again. APC opposition clash. Now, above the masthead, 3 stories of interest here. Senate faults governor's fresh move on local government allocations. President Tinubu's government borrowed $6.45 billion from World Bank, a revelation in a report. And North Central PDP caucus presents Damagom's replacement come October 24th, while Rivers Commissioner of Police visits raised local government secretariats as probe into the arson and killings begin. Now, picture you'd find on the front page of the Punch newspaper, just as much as other newspapers this morning, is a picture of motorists queuing for fuel at a filling station in Abuja and Lagos after the petrol price hike on Wednesday. The riders on the front page of the Punch newspaper say Buhari didn't approve Emefiele's Naira redesign, CBN ex-Dep governor says. 20-year-old Ogun fund seeker drowns in hotel pool. And PDP APC clash stalls poll materials inspection in Edo State. Moving on, let's pick up the Nigerian Tribune as well as the leadership newspapers together, shall we now? On the front page of the Nigeria Tribune newspaper, beneath the masthead, NLC kicks as NNPC sells petrol for 998 naira in Lagos and 1,025 naira in Ibadan, 1,030 naira in Abuja. This is the headline on the front page of the Nigeria Tribune. Now, strap lines here read, brace up for further inflation, higher cost of goods and services, Wealthgate advisory boss says. New pump price gradually reflecting deregulation markets, operators have cried out. New push to oust Damagun as national chairman, as Utan insists position must go to Benue Zone B. Two key members of NWC clash over root causes of PDP internal crisis. Don't circumvent Supreme Court's judgment. Senate cautions states and local governments in the much controversial local government autonomy situation in the country. Features on the Nigeria Tribune inserted to the left side, federal government to gazette zero VAT on pharmaceutical products. Alleged misconduct. Army removes brigade commander, begins probe. Federal government flushes out bandits, terrorists from Northwest. Matawale says. Now, you'd also find picture of Q resurfacing after the announcement of petrol price increase by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited at a petrol station in Lagos. This is a scene that many people have seen across the country since yesterday. Skipping over to the leadership newspaper now, let's start with stories making the rounds above the masthead. Federal government is set to strengthen tertiary education and end strikes. This is a statement by the SGF Senator George Akume. And no plan to amend Kaduna law, says the Kaduna State House of Assembly has revealed. This is in line with the upcoming local government polls. We stand with Supreme Court on local government autonomy. The Nigerian Senate has strongly supported. And concerns over Nigeria's rising mental health cases in commemoration of World Mental Health Day 2024. Headline story here on the front page of the leadership newspaper. Labour laments new petrol pump price as queues resurface. Unions demand clarity on end game. 1 litre of petrol now between 1,040 naira and 1,200 naira. As federal government unveils convert now, pay later portal for CNG cars. World ranking, only Covenant University makes top 1,000 and Middle Belt elders endorse restructuring. Only 134 local government areas in Nigeria are open defecation free. A shocking revelation by UNICEF. As cholera kills 13 people in Niger State. Now, prominently inserted here is a picture of Pope Francis holding a banner with a Lebanese flag as he meets with people on the day of the weekly general audience in St. Peter's Square at the Vatican yesterday. Photo credit goes to Reuters. Now, away from NLC's demand for a reversal of the fuel pump price hike, let's pick up our next paper on the lineup, which is This Day newspaper, where many analysts believe that finally fuel subsidy is gone. Now, as it greets your screen, let's read the headline story together and have more insight into what this story is all about. On the front page of This Day newspaper, finally, subsidy is gone. NNPC sells petrol for 1,030 naira per litre in Abuja and 998 naira in Lagos. Marketers confirm return of competition in downstream oil sector. NLC demands immediate reversal of fuel price increase. Nasima, CPPE, NECA say latest hike is ill-timed and will fuel inflation and stifle businesses. Federal government to set naira for Dangote crude sales using market rates. Away from that story, Above the headline story and beneath the masthead, why federal government must be supported after decades of failed attempts. This is a special analysis that is continued on news page 10 of this day. Ongoing licensing round will boost Nigeria's oil and gas reserves, says country's total oil rigs now stands at 38. This is according to Benga Komolafe. Now, other feature stories you'd also see here on the front page of this day newspaper. What federal government must do: support most vulnerable with cash payments, fight corruption, lead by example. Yet another analysis by this day newspaper. And in deepening cooperation with Japan, President of the Japan International Cooperation Agency, Akiko Tanaka, and Vice President Kashim Shettima, Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Senator Ibrahim Hadija, and Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, during a courtesy visit by President of the Japan International Cooperation Agency to the presidential villa in Abuja yesterday. These are the many stories you'd find on the front page of this day newspaper. Now, in keeping with reports springing up from different quarters of the country in line with the new fuel pump price. Now, as much expected, transporters have hiked up their fares across the country. Now, this is following the news of the increase in pump price by NNPC Limited yesterday. Our next paper on the lineup, which is the New Telegraph, captures this and x-rays it in a more detailed way. Let's pick it up together now, shall we? On the front page of the New Telegraph newspaper, we start off with the headline story: deregulation. Transporters promptly hike fares as NNPC Limited again adjusts PMS price upwards. Sales in Lagos, 998 naira per litre. In the southwest, 1,025 naira per litre. In Abuja, 1,030 naira per litre. In the southeast, 1,045 naira per litre. In the south-south, 1,075 naira per litre. And in the northeast, 1,070 naira per litre. Above the headline story, you'd find 4 stories inserted here. Comply with Supreme Court's judgment, Senate tells state governments in the local government autonomy issue as it moves to amend constitution to accommodate this. Governor Diri falls Nigeria's brand of federalism. Middle Belt elders allege marginalization of ethnic minorities. Wicked threats to Nigeria's democracy if unchecked, Secondus says. Tinubu, Obasanjo, Jonathan, others for Iwanyawo's burial as IOC reassures on security. FIRS unveils taxpayers' code for ease of doing business. And foreign interest in Nigeria's stock market down by 74.9% to $29.8 million US. Plane makes emergency landing in New York as pilot dies mid-flight. This is a feature story on the New Telegraph. And Nigerians may pay more as new rates for number plate, driver's license begin November 1st. IPOB, denying young Nigerians access to vital history for 13 years, can haunt nation. Appeal court sacks Enugu PDP rep, returns Labour Party's Agbo. Riders on the front page of the New Telegraph newspaper on issues of insecurity. Minister hits Sokoto as troops target bandit leader Bello Turji. Urges communities to support onslaught against terrorism. While federal government, on the other hand, opens portal for vehicle conversion from fuel to CNG. Calls for fiscal, monetary policies alignment to tackle inflation and economic growth. These are the stories on the front page of the New Telegraph. Now, the Nigerian Senate has asked state governors to comply with the Supreme Court's ruling on local government autonomy at a time when the topic of local government autonomy is quite a hugely debated one, even after a Supreme Court ruling. Now, our next paper, the Daily Times newspaper, captures this. Let's pick up a copy of the Daily Times newspaper and see what the Nigerian Senate said to the state governors. On the front page of the Daily Times, we start off with the headline story. Local government autonomy, splashed in red. Comply with Supreme Court verdict, Senate tells governors. Warns governors not to tamper with allocations to 774 councils. National Assembly will alter any aspect of our constitution to ensure full autonomy for local government administration, says Senate President Senator Godswill Akpabio. Now, above the headline story, again, Matawale visits Sokoto, seeking means to curb banditry and kidnapping. IGP urges collective efforts to address cybersecurity threats, as federal government targets 60% in value addition of Nigeria's raw materials. And NLC condemns fuel price hike, calls for immediate reversal. You'd find a picture of prominence inserted on the front page of the Daily Times newspaper. A motorist driving past broken utility poles downed by strong wind gusts as Hurricane Milton approaches Fort Myers in Florida. Photo credit goes to Reuters. Now, beneath the inserted picture here, you'd find a rider story saying nationwide chaos has erupted as fuel price surge cripples transport and triggers soaring fares. Commuters are stranded. Businesses disrupted as soaring petrol price worsens the economy. And state governments pledge speedy implementation of SAPZ. Now let's pick up our last paper on this lineup, which is the Guardian newspaper, as we take a look at what the story is saying concerning World Mental Health Day, as frustration, hardship, and many more continues to sink Nigerians into depression. Now, as the last paper greets your screen, we'll briefly take it, and we'll take a short break. When we come back on the program, we'll be having our in-house analysts discuss further and more elaboratively into some of these issues. Now let's pick up the Guardian newspaper. Together on the front page of the Guardian, beneath the masthead, you'd find World Mental Health Day. Frustration, hardship sink more Nigerians into depression. This is followed by an infographics of health facilities saying that they see a 200% rise in mental health cases, with life expectancy in the country pegged at 56 years. And about 63% of people live in multidimensional poverty. Inflation is up 32% and flogged victims in the past year, 1.8 million. Unemployment rate is up by 5.3%, while Nigerians now borrow to feed. As of yesterday, petrol price hike has also caused another surge in mental health issues in the country. Now, feature stories you'll also find on The Guardian. The Nigerian Army has detained a general over theft of palliative, rice, and military equipment. While PDP NWC splits over internal crisis, and Mefele violated Naira redesign procedure, ex-CBN chief testifies. More pains for Nigerians as PMS hits 1,000 Naira per litre, threatens survival. Ayedatiwa sacks aid over alleged 30 million Naira bribe, others probe. Confusion as Senate insists on full local government autonomy. This is followed by a picture of the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio. Now, with that last newspaper frontline story, we'll be taking a short break. When we come back, we'll delve deeper into some of these discussions and perhaps proffer solutions for Nigerians during this very difficult time where people are grappling with so much hardship and people's mental health are also at stake. Today is World Mental Health Day. We'll come on the program much later at 9 to have a more in-depth discussion into this topic. Do well to stick around.
It is Groovy Mono, aka the Steve Prince.
Yo, what's up? It's Big Shags. I'm in London.
Hey guys, I'm Princess Jekoko. My name is Mutale Mwanza, the Queen of Zambian Media.
My name is Grand Friends iTech. Hi guys, my name is Adbn. I'm an actor and a filmmaker.
Hello guys, I'm Falagade Banks.
My name is Kelechi Amadiobi, photographer, storyteller. My name is Nanradi Dura, I'm an actor.
My name is Chidi Mokeme.
Hi, my name is Ucheuba.
It's TV season.
I'm Miss Thames.
Hi ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mamas and papas, I am Jimmy. You can call me the entertainer.
My name is Essie Odometa. I am an actor and a film producer.
My name is Sobi Kubala.
Hi. My name is Julius the Genius. I would give a shout out to ADBN.
Big shout out to ADBN TV.
You're watching ADBN. And you are watching.
Keep watching ADBN TV.
And this is ADBN TV.
And this is a shout out to ADBN TV. Keep watching, don't switch the dial.
Shout out to ADBN. Keep watching, love.
And you are watching ADBN TV.
Shout out to ADBN TV. I've got one thing for you. Make sure you keep watching ADBN TV.
And shout out
to ADBN TV.
Shout out to ADBN TV. Don't touch the dial.
And you're watching
ADBN TV. Keep watching ADBN TV.
And I'm shouting out to ADBN TV.
You're watching ADBN TV.
Keep watching ADBN TV. This is where to be. And you're watching ADBN.
And shout out to
ADBN TV.
And shout out to ADBN TV. Keep watching.
And you're watching ADBN TV.
keep watching ADBN TV.
Right now you are checking out ADBN TV. One time.
ADBN, keep watching. I love you and kisses.
Keep watching ADBN.
And a special shout out to ADBN. Keep doing what you're doing, guys.
Please don't touch that dial.
Stay groovy.
Mwah.
Hey, Bobby.
Ha!
It's a shout out to ADBN.
ADBN, Advocate Broadcasting Network.
No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am. That's now why people dey talk.
You know wetin dey worry you, but you no go fit take help yourself.
In this kind of situation now, what if they really no talk to una? Wetin be the way forward?
They go bury our chairman on Thursday. We go remain here.
Make we talk good where we dey see good, and where we know say we no dey see good, make we also dey talk am.
No woman, no mother deserve to know the grave of his child.
The bank manager, the bank executive, they are the one the government should first praise.
People They Talk, the show on Monday to Friday by 5 p.m. on top ADBN TV.
In a world of overwhelming voices where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Banigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an invocative program that touches the core of our existence.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrast. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on Adbn TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
You're welcome back to Morning Express. Now to continue in our review of newspaper headlines this morning, we are being joined by Mr. Alfonso Zokorie, who is a political analyst and a public affairs commentator as well. He will be shedding light into some of the new developments in the country, particularly the increase in fuel pump price by NNPC Limited, where the federal government says it has no involvement whatsoever in this new development. Well, good morning and welcome to you, Mr. Alfonso. It's wonderful to have you in the studio.
Good morning, my brother. Nigeria has become one day news story. So we are open to it. We enjoy the drama.
Well, what can we do other than to talk and probably proffer solutions? Perhaps stakeholders in the system would listen and adhere to some of the solutions being proffered.
But the problem of it all is, unlike in the student society,
yes,
where your suggestions make sense. But from all indications, like suggestions in Nigeria is just a mere talk, because the stakeholder, the implementers, doesn't look at it, to me, from what I'm seeing.
Yes.
So we keep talking.
Well, in line with talking, let's keep talking. Let's talk about the new fuel pump price hike. Nigerians woke up yesterday to a rather shocking but not unexpected development by NNPC. And I believe that for most Nigerians, what is most aggravating is not the increase in fuel pump price, but the fact that the federal government always comes out to say, we have no hand in this. We don't know why NNPC did this. Why isn't the federal government checkmating NNPC Limited?
If federal government says they have no hand in this, I think it's obvious trying to shy away from their responsibility, because NNPC, as much as we know, try to be independent. It also have a greater percentage belong to the federal government, of which the federal government directly or indirectly regulates the NNPC.
Yes.
So if a trustee of your company is handling your company in the wrong way, what do? You call him to question.
Swing into action.
So if federal government try to say we are not involved, it's obviously they're trying to shy away from the truth, and they're trying to be like play an ostrich game. But an average Nigerian understand what is playing out. From the first day that the president make a policy without consultation, without studying the premises. Until today, nothing has been done in that direction. Shows that whatever, in fact, if any Nigerian tells me that he's surprised at the fuel pump price, I've already asked, maybe wake the person up from this dream. In fact, don't forget, last 2 weeks, Dangote made a statement that Nigeria sell oil less 40% of what is sold in Saudi Arabia. That is great, an indirect word to all Nigerians to know that we are in for it. So what they're playing, just like when Dangote and federal government were fighting.
The whole NMDPRA, NNPC, and Dangote triangular fights.
Those things are just a system.
Yeah.
It's battle of who grabbed more. Because Dangote too is a businessman trying to maximize his profits.
Certainly.
He's also looking at the means. Many Nigerians mistake at that time, thinking that Dangote is fighting for us. They're not giving me food so that I will. No. All this playing out. In fact, if by the end of this year, fuel do not get to 1.5, praise to God.
I mean, it's already at 1,045 naira, 1,080 naira in some parts of the nation. I mean, particularly in Abuja, it's at 1,030 naira. In Lagos, it's at 998 naira. But there are places where it's as high as 1,000.
1,070 naira.
Exactly, 1,080 naira. You know, so the projection for it to hit 1,500 naira is one that might as well happen probably before the end of November.
From my indication,
mind you, this is the third time in 2 months that they are increasing. NNPC Limited is increasing the fuel pump price.
There are one shocking parts I saw yesterday that one of the newspaper today said full deregulation.
Yeah, full deregularization.
But the problem is this: are we truly fully deregulated? If so, NNPC shouldn't raise the price. Which means if we are, everyone sells according to how he buys. The market forces will not regulate the market, which means NNPC can be saying 1,030 naira, Orlando can be saying 1,040 naira.
Rano will be selling 1,200 naira. Yes. Depending on where they got the crude from.
The crude from. But for NNPC to still maintain a uniform price that all the free stations sells shows that we are still not being told the truth. So if actually we are removing food subsidy, can federal government come out boldly and make it once and for all? Let's know so that we know when, though we claim to be under subsidy, but people are making Nigeria unnecessary.
When you say if the federal government is removing full subsidy, they should come out and say it. If you remember very vividly on last year during the president's inauguration speech, you know, the first thing he said when he got to the stage was fuel subsidy is gone.
Yes. But at the same time,
how would you relate fuel subsidy is gone to fuel subsidy is not really gone now? What are we looking at? Because these are very two contradicting statements.
Because Nigeria is a place that every year have 98% no.
Interesting.
So that is why average Nigeria doesn't believe in what government says again. So when government comes and address the nation, in fact, a great percentage of Nigeria don't even listen even to presidential address again because they know that let me be fair to him, about 60% will just be a cooked story. Now, President declared that the first subsidy is gone. Before we know it, NNPCL come to tell us they have subsidized. First was the Ministry of Finance coming to have a budget of about 3 trillion for subsidy. That was gone. Again, NNPCL come out again to tell us they are budgeting about 5 trillion for subsidy. Subsidy that has been removed. That shows you that a whole lot of things is shielded in secrecy. Nigeria are just paying for what they don't know about.
Interesting.
It is very sad that in a nation we call ours, in fact, let me not be too political here, but I think long time ago, Nigeria lost democracy, where your voice can be heard.
In what way?
Where even protests.
In what way? And where did Nigeria at what point did we lose our democracy? Where voices need to be heard.
In fact, let me just come down now to 2015.
Okay.
From 2015 up till now, Nigeria lost their voice. Even protest. I was laughing this morning when I saw Labour threatening to go into war with an NPCL. I said, Labour, what have you to do with a private company? Because as far as Constitution is concerned, an NPC is a registered company, so they can
limited liability company now.
Yes. So why don't you go after the federal government? But you know what? Labour has been couched. Joajelo is, from all indication, is afraid of his life now. So nobody can even protest. The minimum, the salary adjustment,
minimum wage, the 70,000 naira minimum wage,
was selective. So Labour did not make any statement or make any move, because Nigeria is the only place that if you come out, the institution of the government that you are fighting to protect will fight against you.
Now, Mr. Alphonsus, many people during or at the advent of the Dangote refinery, especially when it came into the picture of the oil and gas industry in the country, and there was so much anticipation, positivity, optimism towards what it will do to sort of stem down the harsh effects of the increase in fuel pump price. And now Dangote refinery is fully operational, and the naira for crude exchange between NNPC Limited and Dangote refinery is also, has sort of kicked off. Yet Nigerians do not see any positive effect with regards to this development. What significance is Dangote refinery to the oil and gas sector in the country?
Last time I was discussing in one of the sister stations, and I said, sorry for those Nigerians that believe that the coming of Dangote refinery to the stream will solve Nigeria problem. Because Dangote is a businessman, and every businessman goes for profits.
Yes.
And he's not only a charity organization. He borrowed money to build a refinery. So automatically there is no way you will think or believe he will come and give everything free. So you want to maximize the profit. Then secondly, is that when Nigeria, when we talk about the liberalization of petroleum, we make availability, we make along the cost, that long run will take a longer time. You know why?
Why so?
Dangote start producing. The members of today, Dangote is operating a monopoly market, no challenge. So not until we have about 3, 4, 5 refineries working in Nigeria or close by, the market force will not play any role.
But when you say Dangote is operating a monopoly, it's not really because he wanted it to be a monopolized system. The NNPC Limited has failed countless times in reviving the refineries that we have across the countries. 4 refineries that are being serviced and managed with billions of naira, yet they are not producing any petroleum product. So certainly the issue of monopoly doesn't come up. He just happens to find himself in a system where others have refused to work.
Yes, but at the same time, do you know, sometimes I find it difficult when all our focus is on an NPCL.
Where should our focus be?
It be on Nigeria government, the manager of people's resources. Successive government in Nigeria have failed to do the needful. Goodluck came in, first of all from Obasanjo. He concessioned some of the refineries out. Yadwa revised it. Goodluck mapped a certain amount of money for the rehabilitation of those refineries. Nothing happened. Those money taken from the word of our president is gone. In 2015, Buhari came again with another turnaround maintenance and others. And all that is gone. In 2023, why doing all this? Nigeria government failed. Okay, the question is, if Nigeria as a country is a private business, Will you tell me that all these people will be pushing such amount of money for turnaround maintenance of what they know will not be turned around?
Now, mind you, Mr. Alphonsus, yes, NNPC is now a private company. It's a limited liability company. But that only happened recently.
Yes.
NNPC had, for all the years of its existence, been under the federal government. It has been a property of the federal government. And the issue of fuel scarcity, the issue of increase in fuel pump price, the issue of the refineries not working has been an age-long issue relating to NNPC in line with the federal government. So why do you keep hammering on the fact that it is a private company now?
Do you know my reason?
Why?
First of all, let's look at one thing. That NNPCL was not before now, it's a government agency.
Yes.
And NNPC group managing director was not voted by Nigerian people.
It was an appointment.
It is an appointment. It was an appointment. In fact, today is still an appointment. Now, what happens if Nigeria, if you employ me and I decide to get an aid and something goes wrong, are you going to hold my aid responsible or you hold me that you employed?
Well, certainly the person that was employed.
Certainly. Now, when we look at it, we look at what the successive governments have done. If NNPC had done anything good in those years, we could have been giving plus to the president, right?
Yes.
Right now, they're getting it wrong. The same person should take the blame. Because if President Buhari, in this case, feels that NNPC is not doing the right thing, by now, by this morning, Mekari will be gone, according to his word. So what happens? He brings those that will implement what he wants. Because at the end of
President
the day,
Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yes, the buck stops in his table. Then when we look at NNPCL, why I don't want to dwell much on NNPCL is that as of today, it's a private entity.
Yes.
As it being called. Now, and if you ask them that they are there to make gains, even when I don't know if those gains are coming to Nigeria or not. But so the person we should hold responsible is the person that have the confidence of Nigerians to govern them, to make life easier. There is no part of the world that there is no parts of the life that is being subsidized by the government. That is what makes you patriotic. When you remember that as a Nigerian, when you are holding the Nigeria passports, that it can get you at least a subsidy of petroleum. It can get you a free water. It can get you an energy to use. So
at a fair rate.
At a fair rate. That is what will give you confidence and bold and patriotic to say, okay, I can die for this Nigeria. But at the time that you know that in fact, somebody was making, there was a program yesterday that we are against those that is traveling out, that Japa syndrome and all that. They're saying, you are going there to suffer. Some will prefer to die in the prison over there than to be free in Nigeria.
That's a rather very bold statement.
But that is the fact.
Is it?
Very fact. Many Nigerians will prefer. In fact, last I'm also a president of a boy youth council.
Okay.
There was a video sent by some persons that was held in prison in one of our African countries. We sent an envoy to go to meet them. Funny enough, do not some of them in the prison refused to come back to Nigeria.
Interesting.
They refused. So they prefer suffering in the prison than to be in Nigeria. That is a journey of life. I'm saying this because there are the areas you get to, you face some certain things. You know, that forget all these rhetorics that we always come to paint things so glorious. It doesn't mean. Today is World
Mental Health
Day. Many Nigerians, in fact, each day increase mental illness in average Nigerians. A family of 5 that earns 70,000 as a minimum wage. Tell me how on earth, if not miracle, we make the person survive a week with 70,000. Not talk of a full month. With electricity tariff now, in fact, Gariki here, we have been changed to batch A.
Band A, yeah.
In 1 week, 20,000 doesn't serve you. This is the country that The minimum wage is 17.
So you're most likely spending more than your minimum wage on electricity tariffs in 1 month.
We are not talking about a bag of rice now. It's almost 100,000.
Not to talk of, you know, the petrol price.
Then we are now saying what mental health day.
But
So
many people believe that somehow, since the federal government keeps, you know, washing its hands of NNPC Limited as a private company that it is now, you have said it. The other modalities that they are putting in place, like the CNG conversion sites that they are, you know, creating across the country, they have now created a portal, an online portal where you can register, have your car converted, and you pay in what in the Nigerian parlance, you pay small. You know, is this a viable solution to the current issue at hand?
My problem in Nigeria is we announce policies without understudy. Every policy is rooted in a theory, and every theory have its challenges. That is why in every theory there is critics. So when you come out, last time that was there, federal government came out and said how many universities is going to enjoy so number of percent of subsidy,
yes.
electricity
tariff subsidy. Yeah.
What happened to it today? Now, the conversion CNG could have been one of the answer, but average Nigerian, I'm not saying poor Nigerians, I say average Nigerians cannot afford the conversion. For you to convert your car, you'll be budgeting 1.52 million. How many Nigerians can afford it now?
That's a big question.
So, and this issue of portal, we all know this. Politics are there. Go and check those that we get access to that portal, that we get that through that portal.
And you know, another issue that Nigerians always face, especially when the government opens up a portal for some sort of registration or anything, if the portal is overcrowded, which it certainly will be, because everybody wants to convert to CNG to get, you know, their cars moving at cheaper rates. What if the site crashes, as it always does with other sites that the government creates?
Yes, because that is what I said my first statement. We announce policies without carrying out a due diligence on how it will work. Nigeria is above 200 million. And possibly you are creating a portal that have maybe maximum of 15 million. Go and ask an NPCL. They just did adverts for employment. Within 1 week, over 5 million applied. And maybe federal government, in doing this kind of policy, might create a portal that will not take up to 15 million. And just as you said, most of all this policy is the first group of persons that it will favor. We know that. And after that, that's the end. Because this policy, by next year, it will be among one of those policies that they started. Because there's no maintenance.
That never took flight.
So we know all this. So when government come out with so many policies, so many persons look at it, if they're not among the first group, they will just hands off, because they know that it's going to end up in stories.
On the issue of NLC, we had touched on it a little bit earlier. You said that, in your words, Comrade Joe Ajero has been crippled. His wings have been clipped. You know, he can't do anything anymore. Is the NLC still as strong as the NLC that, you know, Nigerians used to pride themselves in, that they know when the NLC speaks, the federal government listens?
That is a question that I think it also boils down to what I said before about when Nigeria lost democracy. In 2012, NLC was strong. Before that, in 2007, 2006, Oshomore, the NLC was everywhere. And that is why today, if Oshomore is making some statement, I did this, I did that, I said, it's because at that time, we still have some element of democracy that allow you to fly. In 2012, the same thing happened. But in 2015, what happened? From 2015, we begin to see crackdown on NLC. NLC begin to lose their voice. Not because they cannot speak, But you are now afraid of, if you do, what will be the consequence. From 2023, we see the worst of it all. We at NLC, we propose a strike, and in the midst of that, the organizer will be picked and nothing happened. And to worsen it again, this last arrest and all that with Joe Ajero,
yes.
If, in fact, even his family will even call him and let him know, guy, if you die, your name will even just be on newspaper one day, that's all. Because it is obvious that Nigeria is not ready to practice democracy we claimed. Because look at it. Joe Ajero, before now, I think make statements, you'll see action. But since all this is happening, do you still see that vibe again? Because those things, the wings has been crippled as far as I'm concerned. And we hope that more other agencies will not be, because that will be the end of democracy. When people will no longer have the confidence to speak their mind.
Well, Mr. Alphonsus, it couldn't have been put any better way than you did. We need to allow democracy return to the country and return fully and have the full effect that it has always had on Nigerians. And it is also pertinent to ensure that as policies are being rolled out, let these policies be in line with bettering the lives of Nigerians and ensuring that the hardships are lessened day by day. Now, to continue in this, still talking about the hardship that Nigerians are being faced with, the economic hardship, food crisis, and now, of course, the constant increase in fuel pump price hike. Transporters across the country have hiked up their fares. This is a much anticipated action since the announcement by NNPC Limited of a new fuel pump price. Now, let's talk about the Nigerian people themselves. We've been talking about the elites, NNPC Limited, the ruling class, NLC. Let's talk about the ordinary Nigerian that earns a minimum wage, that goes to work, has a family to feed, but struggles every day to get by. And now there is a hike in transport fares. Even going to work is now an issue. How do we get out of this?
To average Nigerians today, it is, there is one thing that is already known. We have already believed that Nigerians, if you push out to the wall, we break the wall and jump out. And that is what average Nigerians is doing now. In many offices now, workers go to work twice in a week.
Yes.
And that also shows inefficiency of the government. Because if actually in office, 5 persons is required to do certain job, and because of this hardship, it's only 2 persons that is there, which means there are aspects of work that will be undone. And that will further affect our productivity as a nation.
Yes.
As a nation. So if federal government look at all this and do not do anything, that shows insensitivity to the people, because every day millions of Nigerians are driven into poverty. Just imagine, your salary was 70,000. You are buying fuel at 970. Now it's 1,030 naira. 60 naira increase, about 12% increase.
Yes.
And you are now looking at it. You are now looking at, did your income increase? No. In fact, it's beyond the fuel. You are now paying transport. Okay, to this morning, from Gariki to here, that used to be 1,000, at least last week, 1,015. It's not 2,000. So
that's more than 100% surge.
That is, now, sometimes if you are in a vehicle and you want to talk and the person some of the drivers begin to be very aggressive, and you will not blame them. By the time some of them buy from what we call black markets,
which is higher than the
which
regular,
is now almost 2,000 per liter. And if you say you are not going to buy that, you queue up for the whole day in the free station. At the end of the day, you come back home, You have your family to take care of. You have the school fees.
And you must have not made any money that day.
You may have not made any money, and you are coming down. Somebody is coming to. In fact, you see people fighting for as low as 20 naira change. That shows you the level Nigerians have been taken to. Ordinarily, before there is a popular word we used to joke with, keep the change. Do you know that?
Now nobody keeps the change.
So you see people fighting over 20 naira, 15 naira. Can't you carry me here? Here is 150. Here is 200. You see an able-bodied man exchanging bro for 50.
But Alphonsus, it is indeed very sad, as comical as Nigerians might want to take the situation, and Nigerians love to laugh. They just laugh off things. In the midst of hardship, in the midst of daunting realities of life, being faced especially by the economic deterioration in the country, we love to laugh. But on a more serious note, the society is degenerating economically. Are we going to see more springing up of protests, revolts, revolutions across the country? Because at this point, it appears that Nigerians' patience is wearing out.
First of all, there are what the political class, I think it's Adam Smith, that says the workers, they describe workers as dogs in a chain. So I want to use that to describe Nigeria people. That all of us were in a chain or in a cage. Everyone struggling to come out on his own. But unfortunately, none of us will come out until all of us decide to come out. Because even if you make that wealth and all your neighbors are poor, you will not enjoy that wealth in peace. So when you look at it, thank God that God gives Nigerians that grace of always turning everything into laughter. If not, you'll be picking dead bodies on the streets. If what is happening in Nigeria today is to happen in America, in any of the Western world, you will see number of suicide.
The crime rate will skyrocket.
Will be extreme. Do you know why? Because in all this, when we look at it, we find out that no matter how you do, despite what you do, Nigeria will find a way. At least one person will tell, now your own was passed.
And everybody laughs.
Now, when you talk about protests, my brother, who is protesting again? End bad government protesters is still languishing in prison. The truth is that the Nigeria elite have cowed all of us. That you can't even come out that you are protesting. In fact, Nigeria states have criminalized protests.
Unconstitutionally.
Unconstitutionally. That immediately you come out for protest, they will tag everything and get you arrested. And you know what? Nobody. Nigeria judiciary, they used to say it's the last hope of the common man. I don't think there's any common man again.
I mean, gone are the days when we used to see the NLC storming the streets in protest, or even, shutting down the country in protest of situations like this. But now it appears that all the NLC does is to demand reversals, demand this and that, yet no action is taken.
Yes, because even today, if NLC should call for protest, few persons will come out.
Everybody's tired.
Everybody's tired. Everybody's afraid. In speech of the CJN, some of us were waiting, not with high hope, to see, because in Nigeria we say talk is cheap. We are waiting. But the event in Rivers State have shown us that, okay, unless otherwise, if not, it's a case, it's just like story like before.
Well, talking about the events in Rivers State, that's most likely our next line of action. But let's just turn our attention to the Nigerian Senate, where Senate President Godswill Akpabio has asked the state governors across the country to ensure that they comply with the Supreme Court's ruling on local government autonomy. Now, as Mr. Alphonsus has rightly put here, the situation in Rivers State, as well as other states with regards to the LG autonomy granted to local government areas by the federal government. Now, talking about that, firstly, let's hammer a bit on Rivers State before we head to the Senate and discuss that. What would you make of the development in Rivers State, especially the aftermath of the LG polls that was met with a lot of arson and killings?
The event in Rivers State is a pure demonstration of state capture. When we see a governor fighting locally and Minister of FCT fighting with Nigerian states from the center. So, you know, there's always room for many persons to give many reasons and all that. But it is, the problem I have here is that the river people are suffering because the two gladiators have nothing to lose as far as I'm concerned. But the river people are suffering. Governance is affected. The taxpayers' money was used to build those local government secretariats.
And now more taxpayers' monies will be used
more
to rehabilitate.
Taxpayers' money will be used. The dividend of democracy that's supposed to be given to the people with that money will not be there. And at the end, everybody claimed that he's fighting for the river people.
Both home and abroad.
My appeal, especially to the Minister of FCT, is please concentrate in FCT. Concentrate in FCT. It has been just like a normal now in Nigeria that godfatherism doesn't last long. When you fight and install a successor in office, though this starts so early, but after some time, you lose the power or the how will I put it?
The willpower.
You
on the flip side, godfatherism is bad because it sometimes clips the wings of the person in power who doesn't necessarily act as the position that they are in, but according to the decisions of somebody who has left office and is somewhere dictating the affairs of the state. How do we balance this? Not entirely eroding the state of godfatherism, but ensuring that godfatherism doesn't clip the wings of any governor.
Godfatherism has its roots in what we call mentorship. I'm sure possibly growing up you have someone you're aspiring to be like.
I mean, I still have a mentor now.
Okay. Your mentor do not translate. Your mentor do not moderate your life. Godfatherism should be like a mentor. Okay, I bring you in. I see that you have potential to do it. Come and do it. Let me guide you. But not that I should moderate your life. I should moderate what you do. Because at the end of it all, nobody will call his name. It's your name they will call. So please, Nigeria, I have this experience. I was the national president of my community, Sokoma. And during the election, many approached me, who is your candidate? I said, I don't have the candidate. I have no candidate. Choose who you want. I will guide the person, whoever it is. When the new government then came on board, and which we know is...
It's just a false political party.
So we know that whether he likes it or not, and this, we have about 2 years and to the next election. It will be a time for the governor to use them to start working on grassroots.
Well, that's quite a point there. Let's move away from Rivers State now and back to the Senate. You know, the Senate was in a rowdy session yesterday on the issue of local government autonomy and the enforceability of, allowing local government areas or local government councils to operate independent of state governments, the way state governments operate independent of the federal government. In a situation like this, why do you think that some state governors do not want to let go of local government councils to have that full autonomy that the Supreme Court in the country, the apex court in the nation, has granted them?
Yes, because that is like where some of the resources, that is the only area that you don't so much account for. Every other time you can be called to account for this or that, but the state, in fact, many states in Nigeria, what they do with the local governments, and that is why I'm not too excited as of today about the local government autonomy, with the kind of election that is being conducted in local governments, where the governors practically appoint his boys into those offices. Do you know what they do, even now? You know what they do?
No, not at all.
And that is what will continue. And that
program that touches the core of our existence.
You're welcome back to Morning Express. Now, our next discussion on the line of this morning, it's World Sight Day 2024. And of course, raising awareness on eye care and preventing blindness is the theme of this year's World Sight Day. And we're currently being joined by Dr. Chinawa Ndubisi Elijah, who is senior consultant ophthalmic surgeon at the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital, and founder of Siloam Eye Foundation. Now, Dr. Ndubisi is also an eye care advocate and has been involved in different blindness prevention projects across the country and beyond. He has performed and supervised about 5,000 eye surgeries in the past 9 years. He's also involved in rural free medical outreaches through his foundation, and he has authored several books. He's joining us virtually now from Uyo. Hello and good morning, Doctor. It's wonderful to have you join us in the studio. All right, let's set the ball rolling. It's World Sight Day. For you as an eye surgeon and a senior consultant, ophthalmic surgeon as well, what does this day mean? What is the significance of the World Sight Day globally?
It is set aside to create awareness on eye health and blindness, because in the sub-Saharan African region and Nigeria, it's been observed that 80% of the causes of blindness are avoidable. It means they are either treatable, preventable. Therefore, we know that if we can create good awareness, that people will do the little they can and prevent blindness. So it's a day set aside, the second Thursday of October of every year, to create awareness on eye health and also for advocacy towards those in position of power to pay more attention on eye care, because eye health is one of the most cost-effective health intervention, but unfortunately, many are going needlessly blind.
Well, it couldn't have been put in any better way. But in talking about awareness, I believe the focus for today should mostly be in rural communities where people don't really have access to, proper health care. Not to talk of, high-end hospitals that take care of ophthalmological issues and all. How do we ensure that outreaches, get to these communities for people to checkmate and stop blindness before it occurs?
Is just one of the avenues. We have, like the Ophthalmological Society of Nigeria, we have different programs set out across the 36 states of Nigeria, to create this awareness, not just on radio and television. Some people are going to different schools because the core theme for the year is Children Love Your Eye. So many of the organizations are going to different schools to create this awareness and also to do some kind of screening to identify children that have treatable problems so that they can benefit from this program and possibly be treated free within the limits of available resources. Then talking about the rural areas, yes, we may not cover all the catchment areas, because the truth of the matter is this, that the number of health professionals in Nigeria has significantly diminished in the past 5 years. because of what we all know that is happening, the Japa syndrome. But most teaching hospitals, including mine, the University of Western Hospital, have outposts in the interiors where we try to, talk to and treat the rural dwellers. And that is one of the things we intend to also achieve, that efforts should be made on the part of the government.
Blindness in a particular region.
Earlier, that it's been observed that the causes of blindness in Nigeria, in sub-Saharan Africa, majorly avoidable. And in a national blindness survey that was done in Nigeria between 2004 and 2007, it was found that the prevalence of blindness in Nigeria was 0.78. That means that in a population of about 200 million, about 1.4 million are blind. And it's also observed that the leading cause of blindness from that survey was cataracts, that contributed 42.9% of the burden of blindness. And I was happy to hear you. So cataracts causes could be one of the causes of the blindness there. And the unfortunate thing is that cataracts causes reversible blindness. Is blindness that is amenable to treatment with good surgical intervention. But the question now is, what is the extent of coverage of this extent of burden of blindness from cataracts? That's why mainly non-governmental organizations come in to augment the much government is doing. But then we are using the forum to call the attention of the government. I said earlier that eye care is one of the best health intervention. And in introduction, you mentioned about thousands of cataract surgeries that have been supervised. In this northern area, a lot of things could accentuate the prevalence of cataracts. One, the recent study done showed that they had less eye care professional in the northern region, one, and this is a challenge for the leadership in the north to accentuate the training and specialization of their experts there, and also to partner with non-governmental organizations that can reach the interior and do free cataract surgeries. Apart from cataracts, the issue of trachoma had been a challenge in the north and other problems. But it's not something that the eye care professional can do in isolation. We provide the expertise, the government and other good-spirited individuals. We provide the resources and the logistics. You might know what to do, but you don't have the resources. That's where the organization like Ophthalmology Society of Nigeria is available, and they are willing to partner with any senator, any governor, any individual. I don't know how much they sell a cow now, but people will eat the cow and forget. But if you can take that money and say, I am targeting 10 people for cataract surgery, and partner with the experts in your area, those people who have their vision will not forget the good work you've done, compared to if you have pushed the money in other areas of let me say health intervention. So I'm encouraging every good-spirited Nigeria that eye care is a good way to put in resources to touch the lives of people. Most of the people that we see, the blindness is reversible. With good intervention, they can regain their vision. From the study, it was found that glaucoma that could cause constitute 16.7%. That's quite a bulk. Majority of the cause of blindness, up to 80%. We are avoiding
rural free medical outreaches, especially to do cataract operations and all of that. We know these operations do not come cheaply. How do you, balance the cost of these operations? How do you sort of source for funding? I know it's perhaps rather private, but do you get some sort of support in order to push this good work that you're doing in rural communities?
Myself. There are many people, like I mentioned, the Ophthalmology Society of Nigeria, that when we talk about collaboration and sponsorship, if you cannot sponsor surgery, you can sponsor health education. If you cannot sponsor surgery, you can sponsor, bringing vitamin A fortified food in your local. If you cannot sponsor surgery, you can sponsor immunization in your health center in your vicinity. And now coming back to the surgery itself, yes, to do sophisticated surgeries is quite capital intensive, but on outreach basis, form several modalities that you can do quite a number of surgeries at very low cost. So this is imploring everyone, they say charity begins at home. I don't know how you can sponsor 1, you can sponsor 10, you can sponsor 20, just partner with people, the professors in your place. Every state in Nigeria have a chapter of Ophthalmological Society of Nigeria that you can make inquiry, partner with them, and on how the resources to be used.
Now, doctor, there is a start at an estimated figure of 24 million people living with vision loss and 1.3 million people being blind. Now, a further 50 million people have non-vision impairing eye conditions needing basic eye care services. If you take a look at these statistics, it's quite a huge start. If about 50 million people have these challenges, eye challenges, and we're a country of a little over 200 million. The figure is quite huge. What do you think is the major cause of this particular problem nationwide? Let's not now just narrow it down to rural communities, but even in urban cities like where I am and where you are.
I'm happy you mentioned the figures. And it will interest you to know that out of that figure, a good percentage are just refractive errors. Refractive errors, eye problems that are amenable to use of corrective spectacle. Like I said earlier, that the emphasis in the year is children love your eyes, and we are going into the schools to screen children that the teachers have observed to have problem with writing so that they can be corrected and given glasses. So a large percentage, apart from the I mentioned earlier, those children or adults that just need corrective lenses. I will agree with me that providing glasses won't be as costly as doing surgery. And why it is, especially as it regards to this year's theme, is there's what I call a sensitive or plastic period of it. That's like 0 to 7 to 8 years. This is a period that if a child has any form of visual impairment, effort should be made to correct it at that age. Because that age, the child will develop what is called amblyopia. Amblyopia is a depression in vision that may not be corrected beyond that plastic age period. And you will agree with me, the reality of a child. The child cannot tell you he has an eye problem. The child cannot express himself. So it calls for index of suspicion from both the doctors, the teachers, and the parents to observe their child. Does the child close one eye to see something? Does the child bring the book close to his face when reading? Is there a history of someone who has gone blind in the family from an unknown cause? These are things to look out for, and it should motivate our health-seeking behavior. I've said on air before that one challenge we have in African setting, especially Nigeria, is that we have not developed a good health-seeking behavior, and that we not separate that from the economic situation in the country. People want to eat first before they seek health attention. So when you have noticed this thing in your child, it's enough reason to seek intervention. The child is drawing close to television, drawing close to his book, squinting. There's a history of blindness in the family of unknown cause. The child has a teary eye. The child cannot withstand light. At that time, it's important the child is corrected. It may just be a simple refractive error that requires glasses. And that gives me opportunity to correct the myth about eyeglass wear. Some think that, when a child wears glass, it further damages the eye. A child that wears glass is socially stigmatized. Glass wear in children, even in adults, it actually accentuates eye health. So that figure you gave, as correct as it may be, are something that can be, the burden can be reduced significantly with the right intervention. And that's why together we do that. So before the burden of blindness drops significantly, even in our own climate, Nigeria.
Now, Doctor, you earlier mentioned the issue of stigmatization, especially amongst children, where if a child is wearing glasses amongst his peers, he is often stigmatized and, as we all know it, referred to as four eyes, which is some sort of derogatory, especially amongst children who might not really know any better.
That's why I'm talking about the teachers, the parents, religious leaders, and the doctors themselves, being observant to have a high index of suspicion. Because when a child is visual, it does not just affect the person's academic life, the person's social life is affected, because the social inclusion that a child for optimal development
are visually impaired, and they are being taught to carry out normal day-to-day activities. They cook for themselves, they learn how to dance, they learn how to do menial jobs that can be done by people who are not institutions, as a solution to the issue of visual impairment in the country. Do you subscribe to this line of thought?
But when the case you mentioned is a case of people that have gone absolutely blind and they are now going through one kind of rehabilitation or the other.
Yes.
It is essential and encouraged, and I advocate that much as should spring up in all the 30 states of Nigeria. But my emphasis today, which I'm putting my feet on the ground, is that we shouldn't let children get to that point where they have to only read with Braille, where they have to walk with cane and the rest of them. Every effort should be made for this 80% burden that is avoidable, which can either be treated or preventable, to be avoided. Like I've talked about this, by stopping some harmful practices of using local medication in the eye. I also talked about even those that have gone blind from cataracts could benefit from surgeries. So this education is aimed at, let us make every effort to make sure that we don't have as much as 80% avoidance in the hospitals.
Yes.
And if intervention cannot take care of it, that's where the School of the Blind comes in, rehabilitation. And nothing stops the government to ensure that every eye hospital in Nigeria has a quarter section for rehabilitation. Not just a section for someone trained in rehabilitative medicine, but with well-equipped. Medical intervention is not just about personnel. There's a place for personnel and there's a place for infrastructure. So someone has been trained for rehabilitation. Does the person have tools to work? Because if we have it incorporated in the hospitals, it will be cheaper for an average Nigerian, especially in government hospitals, the one that will cause deaths. I have said that people have asked me, why was it that our fathers lived longer? Someone will tell me, my father used glass, this and that. And I told them, one of that, they lived farm products. They lived on natural food. Most of the sources of vitamin A that is good for the eye is something you can get from the farm. It's something that is affordable. I had encouraged my family some years ago, rather than going to buy refined fruit juice that you are not sure of the preservative, why don't you buy fresh fruits from the market? If you are eating carrots, you know you are eating carrots. I'm not trying to speak against juices, but when you are eating a natural fruit, you know 100% you are taking the constituents, you are not taking the flavor. So the carrot you mentioned is highly encouraged because it has a rich source of vitamin A. Not just carrots, most dark leaf, green leafy vegetable rich in vitamin A. I even mentioned breastfeeding and red palm oil. These are things that are locally available. But you see people spending tens of thousands of naira in wines that you only believe what you read as the constituent ingredient. But when you take your little naira and kobo irrespective of the inflation we are going through as a nation, to buy the oranges, cucumber, to buy the carrots. It gives you more and helps your eye, you know, and the sugar content is not refined. It's something that the body to a large extent can handle, because most people that are about 40 and above come to the risk of the rest of them. So you see that the food we eat becomes a risk for eye. Some I indulge in taking a binge of alcohol. They may end up having neuropathy that affects the optic nerve when taken in excess. So I will encourage average Nigerians, go for net Africa, go for the food you can find in your farm, especially leaves and fruits. They are rich in eye care. I mentioned that we're going to talk about lifestyle adjustment. Apart from the food we eat, another thing that we should be wary of is, especially in children, is indulgence in the train syndrome. So one of the areas that modified is mothers, teachers should encourage their children to interact with nature. Encourage them to interact with nature, not just to spend hours in the device. It's been studies have shown that children may eventually have reduced myopia because the world is a virtual world. They live within the world of phone and system. They can't interact with nature. It becomes a problem. So it's, apart from eating natural food, the time interval for children on device should be limited and quite monitored. You might as well ask me what are their job and take a walk. Someone has said that each time your phone rings, as part of exercise, both your body and your eye, stand up and pick the call. While you are walking and picking the call, you kind of exercise, interacting, you know, with nature.
Now, Doctor, we have just about 2 minutes to wrap up this conversation. Moving away from the lifestyle choices to ensure that vision impairment is stopped right on time. Let's talk about collaboration between organizations like yours and international organizations. You've spoken about local collaborations between you and some government agencies or